All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to Series 4, Episode 10 of Manor Lords, as we are going after the Steam achievement called Challenge Accepted, where we have to win restoring the peace on the challenging presets for difficulty. So we have just in the last episode started settling Waldbrand. Now this episode is going to be all about juggling development in 3 regions, and we're going to I intended originally to just go ahead and claim the next region in this episode, but there's a lot to be done. There's a lot of stuff I want to get done, and I wanted to just focus on some building items, and then we'll go out to the next one. So we're kind of I'm trying to pick sort of what's a stable size where I can kind of ignore you for a little while. I'm talking about each of the regions, while I focus on building up another region. Because we're going to end up, the plan is to actually just keep going with this until we have every region except one under our control and reasonably developed. So we're going to have a big old thing going here. And, my goal is to make the final battle be a non-event. I know that might bore some of you, but I just want to make the final battle be, buddy, we got too much. Just give in, right? And just overwhelm our opponent. So that's the goal, and that's going to take a lot of regions and a lot of work, but no big deal. We can do it, and we also want to just keep testing this barter system and see the goods and the bads of it, what we can do, what we can't do. What we should do and shouldn't do, that kind of thing. So, and I'm also going to show you kind of the way I've settled on kind of managing a bunch of regions at one time. It just makes sense, and I think the game is designed to help you do that. You just have to take advantage of the mechanics that already exist, and we'll get to those in a little bit. So here I'm thinking, okay, which one do I want to take? Am I going to take one? And I realized, man, once you open one up, I mean, we could claim it. It's no big deal if we claimed it and didn't do anything with it. That would be okay too. But I'm just kind of comparing these, and they're all good. I mean, you can develop any region on the map anytime you want to. I think Eichenau is going to get our next attention. It's just sort of a natural one to kind of expand our influence, and also it's got the rich animals and rich berries, so it should be relatively easy one to do. And so the key in this one is going to be just getting enough barley to have supplies. So the amount of barley you need, I think, is still out of whack. Now, we're not farming a lot of barley, so I can't say that completely as a sweeping statement, but to me, if you're spending more of your resources farming barley to make ale than you are farming wheat to make bread, that to me is a balance issue. That doesn't make any sense. Let me know in the comments what you think. I know they've balanced it a couple of times to make it a little better, but I just don't think we're there yet with that kind of thing. But maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just not playing very well. Let me know what you think about that. Now, they're making a little more money. We're going to raise their taxes and their tithe a little bit, try to keep getting that influence going. You see, we got our 2,000 influence. That's what we need to make our next claim. And we're looking at the tax rate here, 10 and 10 is working just fine. They're making money. You can see their balance is going up. And if I were doing just a single town, I would be just keep on pushing this, growing it, to have more people so that we could have more militia units and more people so that we can work more industries and trade more stuff and make more money and get more treasury money, right? But what we're trying to do here instead is spread that out and do a little bit over a number of regions and go that route, which I think is more interesting. I think it's more in line with the way the game's intended to be played, frankly, because I think the game is meant to be a mimic of these little German medieval villages that grew up and how they would trade, barter with one another to help one another thrive. Want to make sure we get some houses built first so that we can continue to get new people in. We've got our popularity up to a nice level, but we're getting house blocked. We do not want that. We want, if we can get another person, we want them. And we're setting up the clay deposit, and a little later we'll set up the furnace, the clay furnace, so that we can make roof tiles to upgrade our church, which we need to support Waldbrand as Waldbrand develops, and we also need to upgrade the church because that's a great way to get influence. That's, you know, it's 250 more influence when we upgrade the church to a stone church. I want to move to full-blown warehousing model, granary and storehouse. So we're going to go ahead and upgrade the storehouse here in Waldbrand and get it ready. We need to expand our market as well. We're running out of locations, and of course, if we go to the bigger model, then we're going to need more stuff. You know, we're going to need more market sites to get that done. So let's get that hitching post out of the way so it isn't holding us up. And not sure where I'm going. Oh, I know. I'm looking for the other wood. So I wanted to build another logging camp. I really do want to have a couple of logging camps. I want to say thanks to Hans for an excellent comment where he posted some of his observations about the way he's playing. And one of them is he has 2 logging camps in each region as he builds them. And we're going to go at least 2, if not more, if not 3 or 4, and make sure we have timber. Make sure that timber is not keeping us from building. If we choose not to build, that's fine, but not being able to build because we don't have building supplies, I don't think that's fine. I think that's mediocre gameplay when you keep having to stop the way we have been so far. So our tax has gone up, the tax rate has gone up again, and we don't care. As long as, remember, we're paying double taxes, so this is a little harder, but as long as, you know, as long as we're building, expanding, taxing, and especially building an economy that gives you some regional wealth that you can tax, then you're fine on those taxes. And you can still make plenty of money to, you know, improve your retinues and to get mercenaries and whatever you need with the money. So we're just kind of, if it isn't tied down, we're going to trade it. So berries, excess firewood, you know, whatever we have in excess, we will trade. And when I say trade, I should say export. We're not importing anything that costs too much. There are arguments for exporting stuff. Importing stuff, but we're not there. We're not going to do that. We're just going to make money on our trade, and that's it. What you just saw there, where I'm trying to expand something and suddenly I'm somewhere else, that happens to me fairly often. I think I must be holding it in a way that I'm pushing down on, I'm clicking something else in the interface that's making me bounce around and move. But I honestly don't know what it is. That's happened to me multiple times. Enough to be a bit irritating, honestly. Now this little village has 6 oxen. That's pretty good. Couple of horses for the trading post. It even has a mule. And right now I'm actually trying to find. I've forgotten where I placed the pack station in Emmenruth. And you almost have to just remember this stuff because there's just no good view to help you find it once you have a fairly involved village going. It's just really hard to find. And we do have some barley, so our malt house should be working. Now we've got some inefficient storage issues going here that need to be sorted out in Emmenruth. There's a lot of carrying stuff way up here to the granary and storehouse and then bringing it back, and very, very poor, very poor. We're going to fix that eventually. I won't claim we're going to fix it this time, but eventually. And we want to see some ale production just so we can get 3 upgrades to level 3 and get our next development point, so we can get that artisan bakery. We want to get that 4 times the bread, because this we're intending to feed multiple cities out of, or multiple regions out of Emmenruth. Now we don't really have a strong economy yet here, so we're just going to do minimal taxes, minimal tithing. They need to contribute a little bit, but we won't ask too much of them right now. They don't really have an economy yet in Waldbrand. Now that we have some treasury money, let's just go ahead and reform this retinue that just got wiped out from my poor generalship. And now we're starting to have an army. We've got that one small retinue in Waldbrand, and we'll work on building them up, expanding the manor and building them up. And I'm just checking there to see the extra stuff like the helmets. Who all's got the helmets and that kind of thing? And we can see that they're and the chainmail as well. The chainmail for our spear militia in Newslow, and the helmets for Newslow and for Emmenruth. And eventually we'll need to start sending stuff to Waldbrand, or perhaps think of an alternative for getting some militia set up in Waldbrand. It's a real question to me how far you can push the pack stations in order to get stuff out there. Although I must say, overall, we've done a good job of building. I mean, we've got 3 archer militia in Emmenruth right now, and all the bows came from Newslow. So I think that's basically pretty good. So all these farming setups seem to be behaving just the way we want them to. We've got a harvest going on. We should start seeing some barley. We should start seeing some ale production. And because we're using the heavy plow, you really kind of need an ox for every farmhouse, ideally, to just have enough oxen around and have one dedicated to each one. So we've got to make sure we've got enough space and enough oxen in our village. And here's something I missed. I missed that whole summer of gathering berries. Not the world's biggest deal, but yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Shame on me. And and eventually we'll get to a point where that stabilizes, and we say, okay, we're sort of for the moment done with them and Ruth, and we'll just put people in the forage huts, and they can either be idle and help out wherever, or they can perhaps we'll do herbs, and they can pick herbs when they're not working. Although that's herbs really do slow down your berry growth, but I do think they help with your health. What do you guys do with herbs? Do you use them? Do you not use them? Do you find them to be helpful? What's your thoughts on herbs? I do like the looks of Inland Ruth. I think it's a good looking little village. Now I'm just going through and saying, okay, we can get some level 2, get some more income from the level 2. We can also, Ashland KY pointed out, let's make sure you're leveling up. We're going to make sure we level up. So let me rephrase it. Ashland, Kentucky. Ashland, Kentucky. That's kind of near where I'm from. Johnny Hodges is from there. Johnny Hughes. Johnny Hughes. God, which one is it? Johnny, I'm so sorry. I do that to your name every time. I've just got it in my head. I can't get it right. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. So one thing I'm also going to do is try to get forester huts with all of my logging camps, so I don't have to be moving them around all the time. That gets old. So now that we're starting to get a few people here, let's get some forester huts going and get them staffed and line up their development with the logging camp or the woodcutter's expectation. And we're about to head into the part I was talking about earlier about a way to kind of keep track of all this stuff. So I'll start talking about it now. You kind of set up what you're doing next in each of your cities, right? So you go around to each city and you say, okay, here's your projects, here's your projects, here's your projects, etc. Then once you have those lined up, then you just start watching the messages up there at the top. And as they pop, they'll tell you, well, so-and-so, a forester hut completed in Inland Ruth or whatever. And then you just sort of pop over there and take the action you need, and then you just wait for the next thing to pop up. So it is a way you can, based with the mechanics of the game, if you can kind of keep a little discipline, a little bit of paying attention to the messages, you can keep up with a whole bunch of regions at once. At least that's what I'm hoping, and that's what we're going to try. We're going to do it a little bit in this one, and we're going to just multiply it. We're going to make it a bigger thing as we go forward, because we're just going to have more regions involved in our builds going forward as we claim more regions and continue to grow them. Now, the one trade-off, I like this building in the woods kind of thing, but there's two problems with it. One is you are knocking down trees you could be cutting down and using for timber, and you don't get credit for them when you knock them down. And two, it can be really clumsy to try to see what you're doing in your build, right? But I finally managed to get on the right road and get it attached and get to the point where I can build some housing. There we go. There we go. Getting better, getting better. Want to keep the housing queued up, try to keep at least one builder so that we're always building more houses so that we can always get more people up to a point, or maybe just keep right on going, whatever. But anyway, I'm starting to set the stage here for doing something in each of the villages and then watching the messages to see what action I want to take or need to take based on that. I notice there's a lot of there's hides, there's leather. We want to keep that going, and want to take that market stall responsibility away from the tanner so he could be a little more efficient and keep up with the hides, which shouldn't be an issue. I mean, if we don't have a rich. Well, actually, I take that back. We do have some goat pens scattered around in the community too that the tanner needs to walk out to and pick up hides. So having that extra worker, if you've got a family of 3 working as in the tannery, and having one of the workers run a stall is time they could spend going out and picking up hides from the rest of the village from these goat pens we have, and having that feed you with more and more leather. So it really is a great idea to not have these people running stalls, your producers. I know I've said that 20 times, but I think it's an important concept. I think it helps everything stay in better shape. Now I'm trying to see if I can't upgrade locally with my armor, but I think we have to they come with chainmail. I think we have to get to the plate armor, and if we can get to the plate armor production, we can start upgrading our retinue to wear plate armor, and then they're going to be true fighting machines. They're going to have super good armor, and they've got the helmets, they've got their weapon and shields, they're experienced fighters. Now you've got yourself a killing machine. So right there, I've just decided, we've got plenty of builders, we've got a critical mass of people here. I'm not going to mess with those berries and take a chance on not getting them for a whole season or whatever. We're just going to leave those berry pickers out there, in a sense, picking nothing right now. And I want to set up the forester huts here and kind of set this up as an ongoing harvesting wood area. And of course, look, we've got lots of woods out here. We can move out to those places, but I'm just kind of tired of moving around. So I'd kind of like to have some places that I can depend upon for a decent supply of lumber and for timber, and that then feeds our planks, which feeds our exports, which feeds our building. Everything's good. Now here's where I was talking about reacting to the messages. You queue up a bunch of things to build, and as they get built, you see the messages and you start reacting to them and doing what needs to be done. So here I've decided I want to set up 2 forester's huts per each logging camp and 1 forester's hut per each woodcutter. And decided to come up with a way to kind of keep that organized and know how big to make the work areas. So I'm going to take the forester's huts and drive them up until the size thing is over top of the, well, here we go, watch this one. See how this one's going to go up to that W? and I'm going to the W in work area size, and I'm going to match it up with the same size with the Forster's huts, and have 2 Forster's huts working on approximately half of the area of each logging camp, and then 1 Forster hut working on the entire area of the woodcutter hut, in the hopes that we can kind of just keep a steady flow without having to micromanage it and move it around all the time. Now we need more market space. So I got rid of the hitching post that was in the way. That's from our original settlement, actually. And now I want to create enough market space. So what I'm going to do, naturally, we need more market space. So what else would you do besides tear down your entire marketplace? I mean, what other logical thing is there to do? Now, unfortunately, that means that there's supplies sitting right there in the way. So there's multiple ways to handle this. One is, I'm trying to see, okay, can I sneak it in there? Can I sneak it over here on the side? And I looked at it, and said, well, you're really building far away from your storage as you can. So I did the second worst thing. I built down here. Okay, so now we've got some storage we can work on, and we can get some new storage huts, market stalls set up, and get those set up and run out of our warehousing system. But we've still got these supplies in the way, and they're on the ground, and they could get damaged. So we'll take the the storehouse, make sure it's both. There are things that go in there. We're going to take the storehouse and make his work area just literally that space right there. So all the workers from the storehouse will run out there and pick goods up, because that's all they're allowed to do. There we go. Now we've cleared that area out. Now we can just clear the work area and say, okay, work wherever. And we can go ahead and extend our marketplace. It's kind of nice and neat and squared off now. And we can extend it out, and now we've got a nice sized market area. So I'm just checking the messages to see if anything's happened anywhere else. So every month you get the tithe paid and the treasury change and all that kind of stuff. And I kind of wanted to change that to wheat. Well, no. Here I want to keep some barley, just to get some barley for Immenruth. Now, probably need more than that. Probably going to have to change that whole section to barley only, just to keep Immenruth happy, honestly. It takes an awful lot of barley. But we'll do that later. Right now, I'm still trying to just keep that idea of react to everything. And here in Immenruth, we want to get the an upgrade. So we're going to need level 3 housing to get our next development point. And we need ale. And so here we're starting to see ale come down to the tavern. There we go. Now we've got some ale. Now while we've got that, we're going to run up here and see if we can't queue up some level 3 buildings in Immenruth. And we're going to pick those vegetable gardens first and try to get them upgraded. And we're a little shy on planks to get 3 of them. But you can see we got good timber now. That's nice. Okay, here's a good example of the forester's hut going up to the W. Then I'll kind of put him on the one side. And then the other forester's hut will go up to the W. And we'll go to the other side. And is this like precise and measured out and perfect? Nah, of course not. But it's just a good guideline to go by to kind of give a work area with reasonable coverage. And then we're going to set the logging camp. This is probably going to slow us down for a while. But the logging camp is going to come down to the A. So it's going to be the A in area, roughly. And that should match up fairly closely to the work areas of the forester's camps. And we'll see. We'll, after a while, after we get one really going, we'll come back and visit it and see if we got it right. But that's just to give me something to go by. And then we'll do the same thing here with the forester's hut, put somebody on it, give them a work area out to the W or a little past, whatever, doesn't matter. And same thing again. Let him, so they'll overlap and they'll have their own working areas. And then we'll have our logging camp cutting out of the middle, kind of the size of the A, if you will. There you go. That's probably a little bigger than what I don't know. We'll see. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Just trying to get something that'll work. So now I'm just checking messages to see, okay, what has finished that I haven't dealt with. We actually need I think we still need forester huts out there. That one we just did. Decided to make those opposite of each other, like that. I want to give the saw pit a dedicated ox. We've got quite a few here in this town, and I want to give the saw pit an ox dedicated so that they can easily go out to the logging camps and bring in logging. And we've still got that logging camp right there in downtown, really as a storage. So if the others overflow, they'll start bringing the excess down there into a nice, convenient location for us. And here I'm looking at, we've got a ton of grain and a ton of flour and not that much bread. So really want to get these, well, I'm trying to figure out what gives here. Okay, so we don't want the crops coming in here. We do want the bread. And really, I started to take out the flour. We don't want the ale, we want it to stay down there. So that the tavern can easily get it. But then the flour we do want to come up here because we're going to end up putting a bakery into a level 2 burgage plot, like right there. when we can, that's going to become a bakery. And we just need to level up and then get some planks, and then we can build our bakery extension there and really improve our bread production.
Just give me a hammer and something needs to not move. I'll put it in place.
Okay, now we see what we're missing is the tavern supply. And I think what's happening here is we've got the tavern, the people who work at the tavern live far away. Yeah, see that? And so even when they get a cue that there's ale ready, they have to walk from their home. They don't stay in the tavern on their work cycle. So what I decided to do here is put down a couple of houses and have assignments for the tavern and the malt house come out of 2 burgage plots down here. And struggling a bit to get them to come out the way I want them. There we go. And we'll just plan on getting to the point where we permanently assign those workers, those families, to work those 2 jobs. And we will also get to the point where we're stabilized enough and have enough critical mass that we'll permanently assign our farmhouse workers so they can live near where they're working. There we go. We finally got some planks. We've got 1, 2, that makes 3. We've got 3 being constructed. That's what we need to level up to our next level. Now, this one's slightly different, and it takes me a minute to catch on, but we're next to the wild animal refuge here, our center of our city. Our city is basically built around the holy hunting grounds, or the holy food grounds, or whatever you want to think of them, but everything hinges on that little circle we've got there. So I want to use the same W and A ideas for sizes, but I want to get this logging camp. And here's where I kind of punch in. I start to set this and say, well, wait a minute. It needs to, so I'm going to set it, and then I'm going to say, whoa, we don't want to cut down, we don't want to be doing that around our animals. So we're just going to move these 2 Forester hut areas out to kind of match what we just did with the logging camp. So their action will be out away from where they're located a little bit. And that way we should be able to keep a nice stand of trees out there past our church, away from the wild animals, and conveniently located. So it's kind of a juggling. You're constantly looking at how many families do we have housing for? How many families do we have? Do we need to build more houses? And what do we need to level up so that we can move on? And decide I wanted to level up here in Waldbrand. And their food is lagging behind a little bit. And the funny thing is, the reason I want to level up is to try to improve the food situation. So Our food is mostly berries. We do have some meat right now that we're just it has just kind of come back or respawned, whatever, however you want to think of it. So I'm looking for, okay, well, where's this going to happen? Where are we going to see the coverage? You can see we're getting no coverage over there. So then I realized I actually clicked on the second burgage plot instead of the first one. So it's the first two that are actually getting good coverage. So those are the two we're going to level up. Now I'm tempted here to go ahead and do Icon now, just to have something else to do, because Lord knows we only got 3 balls in the air at one time here. Now we need a 4th. But kind of decided against it. I thought and thought and thought. As you can see, I'm wearing out what few gray cells I have, trying to figure it out, and decided to just keep doing what I'm doing for a while. I really did want to have, another expansion really in this episode, but I don't want to let the episodes drive good strategy. It actually wouldn't hurt to go there and go ahead and build it out. It's October, it'd be easy. It'd be easy to get it done, and we know we can do it right through the winter if we have to. Plus, these extra ones you actually get supplies. Well, at this particular setup, you get supplies anyway, but even if we were doing this on difficult with no starting supplies, when you do your additional regions, you do get supplies. They're actually easier than your first one. That's the first one that's hard. On hard, really hard settings, the first one's the one that's hard. The rest of them are not. Now, don't get me wrong, starting with no supplies is a challenge, but it's not. I mean, we've got that down now. I don't think we're going to have to worry about that anymore. As long as we follow our process and don't make any major goofs, we're fine. All right, so clay has finished in Waldbrand, so we can start mining that clay. And we're running lean on people in Waldbrand, as you can see, and that's sort of typical of what I'm seeing now. The patterns I'm seeing, one of them is that when you're in this number of families, it's typical to run lean. You get a little bit bigger like this, and you actually start having excess families, and that gives you plenty of laborers to do your building. And also, if you want to get into a new industry, it's easy to grab people and put them on the industry and not slow yourself down on other things. So it really is helpful to get to a critical mass. And this size right here, we're approaching, 200 people here in Emmenruth, and that's a pretty good size. It makes money. It has a good military and everything. Now here in Waldbrand, I really want to do honey. I keep talking about honey and how great it is. I really want to do it. And if I could do this one again, and I can next episode, or next time we go to a region, I'm going to do honey first. Because honey, when you're small, a couple of apiaries manned when you're small can really mount up, because that and whatever other food you have will stretch out, and you'll start accumulating the honey as well as your other foods, and the honey, and that way you can actually start seeing more and more honey accumulating earlier, because that honey is more or less like about 5 to 6 chicken coops, each one of those. So that's like 10 or 12 chicken coops we just laid down there, and they didn't cost us anything. I really love the honey. Now, we're going to watch this and see if it'll just prove me completely wrong, but I really do like the honey as a starter to just knock out your food problems. Particularly, if you've got rich animals, rich berries, don't worry about it. But if you don't, if you're missing both of those in particular, I think honey would be a great way to go to augment the berries and the meat that you do have. And we'll see. We'll just play with it and see if we like it, and see if this is going to hold true. Now, the thing is, of course, here we're down to one food, right? About all we've got is the berries. And we're heading into winter anyway, so we're going to be eating berries. And so what honey we have is probably going to get consumed. That's why I said I wish I'd done this first. With the first upgrade, start the honey and start it accumulating early when you don't have very many families to feed. But anyway, we'll see how that goes. Beautiful. We can start adding that garrison tower to give us a bigger retinue here in Waldbrand.
Carry this alone.
All right, we've got our clay furnace built. Now we can man that. I'm checking here to see if we could just let go of the mining pit, but it's actually not that far ahead. I was hoping it would have, 10 or more clay already accumulated, in which case we could just stop the clay work and get that person back, because we are still, going to these foresters so early is actually putting stress on our staffing too, because we are doing this early, probably earlier than we need to be. Might be something to think about. I think I could see this city being kind of cool looking at some point. We'll see. All right, wake up. We've got finally doing something different here. We're going to expand this retinue. So this is going to give us 3 full retinue units, 24 soldiers each, with experienced, well-armed troops. And we're going to see if we can't get into plate armor down in Nuslo and start making plate armor to upgrade those troops. And that'll be coming up later. Right now, I think we're about ready to wrap up this episode. And in the next one, I do think we'll get into adding a 4th into our little juggling routine. As we'll go after Eichenau next. So we'll keep an eye on that honey. See, it is up to 5 now, but obviously that's not quite cutting it. But I've even contemplated we may even buy some honey or something, any food at all. And the other thing, of course, we could put eggs in here easily. We've got some money. It would be a good thing to do. And here's something we really needed to do: get cobbler going, because we have some level 2 houses that are going to want level 2 clothes. And we're going to just keep aggressively building up, expanding, leveling up, what have you, of all the towns that we have. And in fact, I'll go back to Nuslo and do some more, give it some more love as well. But we're going to try to juggle 4 regions in the next episode. So I'm enjoying this. I hope you are too. I hope you're getting something out of this to help your game. I hope you'll like, comment, and subscribe, and join us for our next Manor Lords video. Thank you.